Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Raw. I'm Bryon, and I'm once again joined by Attitude Era Yearner, Mike. Say hi, Mike. I can't even come up with a new intro now. It's the same one.
Yeah, I should come up with these for myself, based on what happened last week. But you can say Finn, world's number one Finn Balor fan,
Really?
world's number one LA Knight fan. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad that Finn is getting a singles push because my man, as you know, as I have said on the show many times, it feels like Finn is or was they portrayed him as almost like an idiot in the Judgment Day, where he just like he'd get in a fight with them one week and the next week he'd come back and everything would be good. So I'm really glad he's getting his own singles push. Yeah. And he may be getting maybe a belt out of this. So I'm happy for him.
Well, I think JD is the dumber of the group, I suppose. I think Finn is the one that takes the most pins. That's why he's called Pin Balor, and then JD McDonough is just there. I don't even know what JD is even doing now. They've just put him on backstage playing a PS5 with Dom, I guess. I guess that's his role now. Alright, well, whatever the case. Monday Night Raw, we are heading into Elimination Chamber, and Finn Balor has an opportunity to take on CM Punk for Punk's championship, which could be pretty cool, I guess. We also have the men's and women's chamber matches to look forward to in the Elimination Chamber right in Chicago. And I think, is this the go home show? I think probably not, because they have, so this is not the go home show.
Next week is the go home show.
Right. So, I guess we'll just get to it. For those of you who don't know, this is a show where we just, predict and book the next episode of Monday Night Raw according to these rules. And then once we tell you what we think will happen on the show from beginning to end, segment by segment, we will then watch the next episode of Monday Night Raw as it airs. We will then score our predictions and bookings, and then we will score them according to this system that is outlined here, and then we will come back here and tell you what we got on the next episode of this show. So, points. I think I got a lot of points. I got a lot of points from last week. So, I predicted 2 out of the 3, because remember, I think last week there weren't any specific competitors of the chamber matches.
There were no booked EC qualifier matches. Yeah.
So you kind of had to predict what the qualifying matches are going to be last week. So I got 2 out of the 3 for the women's chamber match. I got 2 out of the 3 for the men's. I also got Jey Uso and LA Knight, the Usos and LA Knight winning their respective matches from last week. And the rest are appearances from Punk, Balor, Adam Pearce, Liv, Dom, Rhea, and The Vision to complete that. What did you get, Mike?
Yes, I got a dismal 5.5. I got points from mainly appearances of LA Knight, Bronson Reed, them being involved in matches. I think I got 2 out of the 6 competitors in the EC qualifiers correct. And I also had a Finn Balor promo somewhere in there as well. I got an appearance of Finn Balor. So I had 3 out of the 6 of people in the EC qualifiers correct. So,
damn.
And I also had Natalia winning the match. So that was also bad for me.
I think that was a DQ, if I recall.
Yes, yeah, I said I had her winning, so I didn't.
Oh, you had her winning, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hope you get more points as we take a look at what happens, or what is announced, I should say, on the next show. What is happening? It's Gunther versus Javon Evans versus Dominic Mysterio in a triple threat. Men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. We also have Bayley versus Asuka versus Natty. The Women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And we also have a promo segment from AJ Lee. So, without further ado, let's book this thing. Get to my version of the show first as CM Punk walks to the ring. Punk starts the show with his usual catchphrase, "Isn't it alive?" To be, I don't care. Then talks about the Finn Balor match at Elimination Chamber. He says he will beat the crap out of Finn Balor at Chamber and proves that he is the best in the world. But the real challenge will be when he faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That is the real test of proving that statement, because Roman at least has the evidence of backing up that statement. He has had a long, very long reign as a heavyweight champion. Granted, it was on SmackDown, but regardless, it is still a very long reign. However, he has the audience at his side, and he will also prove that he is the best in the world when he beats the crap out of Roman Reigns and keeps the title, because, well, Punk believes that he's the best, and he will prove that he will be the best at WrestleMania when he takes on Roman Reigns. He is then interrupted not by Finn Balor, but by Paul Heyman and The Vision, who tells him that his days are numbered because whoever gets the title will get stomped out eventually by Braun Breaker, and the title will be back on The Vision. The Vision are about to head to the ring. However, they are attacked by LA Knight and Penta. Meanwhile, in the ring, Punk is attacked from the back by Finn Balor, and Adam Pearce comes out to, basically facilitate all this chaos, and eventually just announces the main event, which is The Vision taking on LA Knight and Penta in a tag team match. After the announcement, Finn grabs Punk's title, raises it high to end the segment as Adam Pearce kind of ushers in security to separate these people out from each other. So I think Punk is going to retain a Chamber. I don't think Finn Balor is going to take that title from Punk. So I think it's going to be Punk versus Roman Reigns at Mania. Those are two really big names, and I think they will just put them on there in a match at Mania rather than Finn Balor. And then LA Knight and Penta will be part of an 8-man tag team match at Mania where they take on The Vision along with the Hooded Man and maybe a person that might return at the end here that I have booked. So there you go. The faces go over in that match with the help of the Hooded Man and the other person returning. And Braun returns after Mania. Hopefully that surgery kind of gets done and he gets better, to go after Roman. And I'm going to assume that Roman wins the match against Punk, and he gets it from Roman. And yeah, that's how basically I think Braun gets it. So there you go, with that injury in place. The New Day take on the War Raiders. Again, this is because of the Usos winning against Alpha Academy last week. Now it's time to find a new challenger. We have the Usos coming out for commentary, and I will have the New Day win by pinfall, obviously. After the match, the Usos have a stare down with the New Day in the ring, and the Usos raise their titles. The New Day counter by beating up the Usos and then raising the titles above their laid out bodies as they are on top at the end of the segment. This leads to the Usos going up against the New Day, going into WrestleMania, as I said last week, where the Usos go over. And again, the New Day's the more recognizable tag team name, so I think that they will basically put them in a feud against the Usos one more time, and they'll have this match at WrestleMania. And as I said, the Usos go over. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez take on Nikki and Brie Bella, also known as the Bella Twins. And I will have the Bella Twins win by pinfall due to a distraction from Stephanie Vaquer on Raquel Rodriguez. I know they're both heel tag teams, but at this point, who cares? It's the women's tag team division. After the match, Liv Morgan comes out to chase after Stephanie Vaquer, and both have a backstage brawl that is stopped by Dominic Mysterio, who slaps Stephanie Vaquer in the face. I kind of hope that happens. It's kind of a retribution for what happened last week when Stephanie slapped Dominic in his face, and that sort of angered Liv. So this is kind of a payback, I suppose. And I think ultimately Liv is going to pick Stephanie here. I think that is the much more rewarding rivalry for Liv rather than going to SmackDown and taking care of Jade Cargill. I think the bigger story there is Bianca. But then again, as Mike said many, many times, we don't know when Bianca is going to come back. So I think it's hinging on that factor as to who Liv is going to pick. But I think ultimately it is going to be Stephanie Vaquer that she will take on. She'll take it away from Stephanie and carry on as champion. So there you go. AJ Lee comes out next and talks about the promo segment with Becky Lynch last week. She says it may be true that Becky is one of the greatest women wrestlers, of all time. She is the first, and by she of course I mean AJ, the first greatest women's wrestler of all time. And it's not just all of the people in the stadium that just say it. It is all these other magazines too. She says she will get Becky's title at Elimination Chamber because she does have a match against Becky Lynch at the Chamber. And she will celebrate her new legacy with the people around her, and with it, she will lead the women's division to a brand new dawn. She is then interrupted by Becky Lynch, who says that the only reason why AJ returned is because she is jealous of what the division has become, much like the Bella Twins, and she wants to join in on the fun. And she will defend the title at Chamber with all she can, because she knows she can beat AJ, because she is the best women's wrestler of all time. It's not just whatever, her catchphrase. She just says her catchphrase. AJ Lee urges Becky to come to the ring because she can't hear her. And sort of like how CM Punk sort of taunted Drew McIntyre to kind of get to the ring because CM Punk can't hear. And Becky almost enters the ring, but backs out. AJ then goes to Becky for a brawl. Adam Pearce and security breaks them up. And I think this might be a bold prediction, but I think Becky Lynch retains at Chamber. I think they might have someone else feud with AJ. And ultimately, I think that title should go to Maxine because they've been brewing up this sort of Maxine and Natty sort of storyline. Unless they're willing to push Natty, in which case, fine, I guess have AJ win. But I think I'm leaning more towards Becky retaining at Chamber and having her face basically Maxine Dupree at Mania, where Maxine sort of gets her title there. But speaking of Maxine and Natty, we got a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. We got Bayley, Asuka, and Natty competing in this match, and I will have Bayley win by pinfall because of a distraction from Maxine Dupree on Natty after an attempt at a distraction from Lyra Valkyria to Asuka. So there's a lot of elements in the match here. But after the match, Maxine and Natty kind of brawl around the ring and into the crowd while Lyra and Bayley beat down Asuka and Kairi. Natty applies a sharpshooter on Maxine for a long time before security pushes both of them away. Again, this sort of protects Natty and kind of makes her sort of a more destructible heel, I suppose. You know, after that loss, she is still protected. And you know, she still has this feud with Maxine. So I will have that wrap up around maybe March, going into April. And yeah, basically this leads to Maxine versus Natalya again at some point. It could be at WrestleMania, it could be before, as I said earlier, and then Maxine versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, either night 1 or night 2, where she eventually gets the title from Becky again, as I said earlier. So there you go. Moving on to the men's side of the Elimination Chamber, as Javon Evans, Gunther, and Dominic Mysterio qualify or try to qualify in this sort of qualifying match. And I will have Gunther step up here and win after a failed distraction from Dragon Lee. Again, Dragon Lee kind of has a feud against Gunther, I suppose. He tries to sort of distract here, but it fails. And Gunther gets the pinfall. I don't think Gunther wins the Chamber. However, I think I will have Gunther in the Chamber itself, because potentially it could set up Gunther versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and you could hint that at the Chamber match. So that's why I'll have Gunther there. I think, as Mike said, Gunther versus Randy Orton, the career killer versus the legend killer. That could be big money there, big money match between the two. So I think that'll be a pretty good decision there. So I'll have Gunther win in this match. Main event: LA Knight and Penta take on Austin Theory and Bronson Reed of The Vision. I will have The Vision win by pinfall, again due to 50-50 booking, sort of a payback for LA Knight's attacks on The Vision. After the match, The Vision beat down LA Knight and Penta, but are saved by the Hooded Man and a returning Rey Mysterio. Once again, the Hooded Man runs away, escapes successfully as The Vision chase after him. The faces, congratulate Rey's return as the show goes off the air. Again, I put it at the end here because of Rey Mysterio's return, and he will be factoring into this 8-man tag at WrestleMania, where it's LA Knight, Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio taken on The Vision in this. Did I say 8-man? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 8-man tag. And Braun Breaker either has to go into this championship match at night 2, this is a 2-night WrestleMania, or after that, maybe at SummerSlam, or even beyond that, Survivor Series probably. We shall see. Any questions?
Okay. So do you think that do you really think they're going to set up Gunther with a feud against Dragon Lee? Or do you think that this is just transitionary to where he'll end up fighting someone else?
Yeah, I think it's just... So, my first thought with putting Dragon Lee into a feud with Gunther is that you could escalate this into a Gunther versus Rey Mysterio feud. And that's what I was thinking when I did the whole Gunther versus Dragon Lee match. And then Rey comes in, he checks on Dragon Lee, and then Gunther laughs at his face and leaves, right? You could escalate that into Gunther versus Rey Mysterio because Dragon Lee has that relationship with Rey Mysterio. So that's sort of, you can sort of move up from there into Rey Mysterio. But the more they sort of integrate Dragon Lee into this situation, the more I realize that it's more transitionary. So honestly, I think that this sort of Gunther versus Dragon Lee is more of a minor feud, like a side quest, I guess. And they'll probably transition this into, again, because Rey Mysterio, okay, he's sort of a big name, but I don't think they're sure that Rey Mysterio can probably carry, I suppose, in terms of a match against Gunther. And I think that they're leaning more towards Randy Orton in terms of the technical ability. And a Randy Orton versus Gunther match where they're both kind of old school technical guys. They work probably really well together, considering their styles. So I think they're probably going to lean more towards Gunther versus Randy Orton, and this feud between him, Gunther, and Dragon Lee. I think it's more of a transitionary. Whereas at first I thought, okay, there's potential here. It could escalate to Rey Mysterio, but I think they're putting Rey Mysterio in a Vision storyline anyway with LA Knight and Penta, so that's why I have it here. So
okay. Yeah, it seemed to me like maybe they would be moving him towards retiring Rey Mysterio, which would be fucking nuts. This man is just like a career killer.
Yeah,
and I really think they're going for like Randy Orton versus Gunther at WrestleMania. So
yeah, because I don't think Rey Mysterio wants to retire. I mean, he can still go in the ring, like he still has it. Whereas Randy Orton, I feel like it's time. I know that he said that he's still down to wrestle for a while, but I think him against Randy Orton would be a bigger match at WrestleMania than him retiring Rey Mysterio. So you could probably reserve Rey Mysterio maybe later in the year or maybe next year, but I think Randy Orton versus Gunther is a big match and it is Mania worthy. So yeah.
Yeah, John Cena, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton being gone in the span of 12 months is kind of nuts. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
I mean, it's the changing of the old guard, but at the same time, they're still pushing people like CM Punk. Like, really? Punk is still your champion, and you're retiring all these people? I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like... I think it feels like the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era, where you still have people like The Rock and Hulk Hogan, but at the same time, you also have a bunch of other mid-carders and a bunch of newer faces that they are trying to push, but there's something that's just like keeping them off, I suppose. Like you have Edge, you have, I think Chris Jericho was around at that time. Like you have all these people, and then you have these new faces like John Cena at that time, where they're trying to push him, but there's something that's keeping them from putting him in the main event scene. So I think we're in that point right now where it's just like, okay, all these old people are around, we gotta retire them if they want to, and then there's these new faces we gotta push. We have this dilemma. How can we fix it? And right now, I don't think they're fixing it, but they're trying to. So, any other questions before we move on to your card?
No, I'm ready for my card.
Okay, let's move on to your card then. Starting off with...
You have a CM Punk promo. CM Punk comes out, says, "Isn't it good to be alive and wherever the fuck they are today?" And he puts over his match at Elimination Chamber against Finn Balor. He has a title shot against Finn Balor has a title shot against him at Elimination Chamber. And again, he tries to convince Finn to leave the Judgment Day because he doesn't need him anymore, and he's a good enough wrestler as he is. So I think he's eventually opening the door for a Finn Balor heel face turn. So CM Punk is then confronted by the Vision, including Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker, who are unhappy with Finn getting another title shot before Braun Breaker did. But he is saved by Jey Uso and LA Knight, their perpetual Vision antagonist that is LA Knight. So, there you go.
All right. Do you think LA Knight will have a role in WrestleMania? And do you think that... Oh, you said the Usos are also going to be in this segment, you said?
Yeah, I think LA Knight probably fights Braun Breaker now that I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Because we already have the title picture booked. I think it's going to be him versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. Yeah, probably.
All right. That could be interesting for sure. We'll move on.
Or it could be like a four-man like street fight between the Vision and like LA Knight plus a bunch of other guys.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think WrestleMania should have LA Knight in it, but yeah, I think LA Knight is definitely going to be on that sort of feud going into Mania, just a mid-card one. Unfortunately, not for a title, but it is what it is. We'll move on from that to
a Elimination Chamber qualifying match. You have Bayley versus Asuka versus Natty or Natalia, depending on what your flavor is today. I think Bayley wins this one. It seems like these are very predictable. They have like a main eventer, obviously, and then they have two mid-carders, and they're making it very obvious that someone is going to win this and who that person is. So, yeah, I think Bayley wins this one and ends up going to Elimination Chamber.
All right. Great. Where do you think Asuka and Natty go from here? I mean, obviously, Natty is in a feud with with Maxine. Do you think Natty
Yes, I
goes
think
over
Natty
there?
stays in the feud with Maxine and Becky Lynch. I think Asuka goes back to the tag team scene. I think they're one of the tag teams that stays together for a little while. So
Yeah. Remember when they had the storyline where Asuka and Kyrie were probably gonna break up, but we just
I remember when she
don't.
was like a main event champion for like twice. Dude,
Yeah.
I remember like I came in right around, well, not in because I was watching like Attitude Era stuff, but I came into like modern, WWE at that time, and my thought was like, damn, so she's like one of the more like legit main eventers. No, no, she just had the title at that time apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in NXT she had like a 300 plus day reign as champion, and then they brought her to the main roster, and they had a feud. She had a feud, I mean, with Charlotte, and they had a WrestleMania match, and they made the decision to essentially kill off the streak and have Charlotte win, and it was a title match. So yeah, kind of weird to see her in this. I mean, yeah, there's the women's division is definitely more focused on the women's tag team division to the point now where all the bigger names, the stars are on that division. You got Rhea Ripley, you got Asuka, you have the Bella Twins, like all the big names are on that division. As for women's single stars, you have Maxine Dupree, like Natty, I guess, Jade Cargill, I guess, Julia, like there's not a lot of the amount of star power on the singles is not as balanced as the women's tag team division, whereas years ago they're kind of more balanced than right now. So kind of weird, kind of weird. Do you think Bailey goes on to win the match, or are you still thinking
Yes.
that
Yep. Oh, Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
Again, I don't know who wins Women's Elimination Chamber. I have to see until the whole roster
all right,
is out because I really don't know.
okay, fair enough. We'll move on from that too.
We have AJ Lee coming out for a promo. AJ Lee comes out and puts over Maxine Dupree and basically challenges Becky Lynch for her title. And she is attacked by said Becky Lynch, who is then attacked by Maxine Dupree. So I think this is leading to a who is attacked by Maxine Dupree, who is then further attacked by Natty, who comes out and fights Maxine. So this is, I think, going to be leading up to a four-way between these four women at Mania,
Oh God.
or maybe Elimination Chamber. But
Oh God.
yeah, probably a four-way between these four for the IC title, most likely. So
Yeah.
that's more than you can say for the men's IC title, where they have
Oh
no
no.
one going for it at all.
They got no one.
But I think with this, with Javon Evans being included in this Elimination Chamber qualifier with Dominic, I still think, Brian, their plan is to give him the title next.
Sorry, who?
Javon Evans.
Javon? I
Yes.
mean, I guess after he wraps up the feud with El Grande Americano and sorting that whole situation out, I suppose, yeah. I suppose he is the next one to take on Dom, if Dom is ready. But again, yeah, okay. I could see Dom versus Javon at WrestleMania. That could happen as like a mid card match. I mean, they still got time, and if they can build some story around that, that would be great for sure. So, do you think with that fatal four way match at Mania, then, Mike, do you think that AJ Lee finally wins that title, or do you still think that Becky retains here?
Um, I think AJ Lee wins it, maybe. Um,
Okay,
yeah, and then maybe Natty takes it away at some point. I mean, I don't know what their contract situation looks like. I don't know if they're going to be full timers or part timers. I'm not really sure. Um, I can see it cycling around to where, AJ wins it and then Natty takes it back from her and then Maxine takes it from Natty after a while. So
all right. Okay, makes sense. We'll move on from that then to
We have the Gooner himself coming out
Gunnar.
for a promo. He outlines his plan for Elimination Chamber. And once he wins Elimination Chamber, he's coming after Drew McIntyre for his title. Um, and yeah, that's basically it. So,
Okay, wow. Are you leaning
yes.
towards? Okay, I guess you cannot predict the winner of the Elimination Chamber for the men's because of, all these unpredictable elements. You don't know who's going to be in it, I suppose. But where do you think the
I'm
Mania
definitely
plan?
thinking Cody Rhodes, man. I'm
Oh, you
definitely
are?
thinking Cody Rhodes.
Okay. All right. Where do you think Gunther goes then? Do you agree with the idea of him going up against Orton, or do you have another sort of feud in mind for Gunther?
Yeah, I think Gunnar goes up against Randy in at WrestleMania for a career career match.
Okay.
I think Randy wins. I think Randy wins this one. I think they really haven't built up Gunther as like the man who retired John. I mean, I guess like it wasn't a shock because it was his last match, so people weren't as
Yeah.
like you know if it was just an abrupt last match, people would be like, oh my god, dude, this guy's a fucking maniac, right? Which he did for AJ Lee. I mean, sorry, AJ Styles, and that was kind of shocking. But AJ Styles hadn't been a main eventer for a couple of years now, so I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. No offense, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Um, so I think that his heat has kind of fallen off very quickly. Um, he had nuclear levels of heat after beating John Cena, and then he got
Yeah.
even worse when he retired AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And now that he's in a feud with Dragon Lee, it just kind of feels like it's been falling off. And I don't know who he'd go after next. I mean, maybe Rey Mysterio. I could definitely see Rey getting retired first because I think Randy can still go. Like Randy's still got the body for it and everything. I think he's still good. So I don't know. I mean, putting them both in a chamber, I mean, seems like they might be setting up for a match between them at WrestleMania. And if that happens, I think Randy goes over, but then, Gunther loses his status as a career killer. So I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think I'm leaning more towards Gunther winning, but yeah, okay. Yeah, I do agree that Gunther versus Randy Orton is probably going to be what they think they're going to put for Gunther as the next opponent to have their career killed at Mania. So for sure, we'll move on from that then too.
The Elimination Chamber qualifying match. This looks like the title for a B tier movie about a guy who is in charge of two younger children and doesn't want to be.
What? What
This
does
looks
that
like one of
mean?
those
What do
movies
you
where
mean?
it's like like the I don't know what the movie was. Maybe it was Eddie Murphy or something else where it's like the babysitter or something where like it's a grumpy older guy who now has to look after two kids. Like this is what this looks like. It looks like one of those movie
Okay.
covers. Like
Okay.
Gunther does not belong in this photo whatsoever.
Well, he's the only one that's not smiling out of the three. So
I know. It's why, man. It's crazy. Anyway,
Javon Evans
I
has
think
has the most fucking funniest fucking smile, man. Look at that smile. That's so fucking.
he's just a bouncy boy, man. He
He's a
has he
bouncy
has the
boy.
bouncy. He's got the bounce.
Yeah.
Um, I think Gunther wins this one. I think Javon, unfortunately, though, even though I am pushing him to the moon in my head canon, and that's my prediction. I think he takes the pin. I don't know why they're protecting the fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's injured, he's injured, bro. Like he can go on the bench for a little while. It's fine.
True.
People are gonna still like him. They don't like him because he wins. They like him because he's Dom. It's not
Yeah.
because he's successful. It's because he's a meme machine.
He's
So
Eddie. He's also Eddie
but
Guerrero, but You take out all of the charm.
I think he has like goofish charm, unlike Eddie, where Eddie was more of like a actual charisma. I think Dominic has like the goofy,
Yeah.
lovable loser type deal. Anyway, I think Javon takes the pin here. Unfortunately, Gunther wins this one, and he is heading to Elimination Chamber. So,
All right. Cool. We'll move on from that too.
we have Io Sky versus Lash Legend. So on SmackDown, there was a women's tag team championship match that ended in a no contest after I think one of them got put through an announce table, and then the other one got put through the other announce table. So
Let's not forget that match also had a lot of botches. And can you tell? Can you tell where most of the botches came from?
I didn't watch that match. I tuned out at that point because my laptop died. But without watching that match, I'm gonna guess Nia Jax.
You are right. You are right. You can tell. You can tell. Like there were many points in that match where she was just out of position, or she was in a spot too early or too late. Like Nia is all over the place, man. Like what the hell is going on?
She works better against like a fellow heavyweight. Like the big, if you're playing 2K and you have like there's several classes of characters, right? There's like a cruiserweight, there's like all the flippy dippy moves and whatever. There's like a medium weight who's more of like a brawler, and like she's more of like the big like Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley type big fighter who like is slow but has very powerful moves. She thrives better in that scenario. When you put her up against a person like Io Sky, doesn't work well because she can't move as fast as Io can. So
yeah, Io's very acrobatic, and I guess Rhea is tall, but she can also go in the ring. So
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this is a follow-up of that match. I think we're going to enter a 50-50 booking angle here where I think Lash wins this one by a pinfall. I think on SmackDown we have a fight between Rhea and Nia where Rhea ends up taking it. And I think the reason they're doing this on back-to-back shows is because we don't have enough time until Elimination Chamber. And I think this ends up in a tag team match, probably on the Go Home show on SmackDown.
Wow.
Yes, because Rhea is, I think, already in Elimination Chamber. So I don't think they're going to have her pull double duty on that night. Maybe they do, but I don't think they do. So yeah. I think this tag team rematch ends up on the Go Home show on SmackDown.
Okay, so I guess with Mania coming up after Chamber, what do you think the sort of women's tag team feud? What will that be going into Mania? Do you think it'll be a multi-team feud or?
Yeah, I'm definitely aiming for like a TLC type deal because that this happens at Mania all the time where it's like tag team spot fest. They love doing that. And I think that they'll have one for the men, which will be a unification match, and they'll have one for the women, which will be for the one titles. And I think it'll be probably like the Bella Twins, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. Probably have Rhea and Io if they haven't broken up by then, and maybe one other team like Bailey and Lyra or something like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, also, TLC that could get the crowd going. It's a very energetic, chaotic match. So definitely a great option for that. Did you say who would win that match?
I think you could have the Bella Twins win if you want to cycle the titles around, but I don't know. I mean, I personally would like Nia and Lash to continue winning because I think they're a good tag team and a good heel tag team. But and we need these women's tag teams to break up eventually. We need more main event talent. We can't keep
Oh yeah,
having Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan go at it,
I
and
will
Jade
say.
Cargill going after Michin and BFAB.
Oh come on, we gotta give Michin a chance, bro. Even BFAB and all those other guys, we gotta give them a chance, man. But no, I do agree with you. As I said, there are a lot of bigger names in the women's tag team division that need to be on the singles sort of track. But if it is the case where Nia and Lash should get more wins, can we please, please have Nia Jax get in the ring and at least do some spots properly first? Like, is that too much of an ask? Like, come on, guys. Like, the weaknesses of Nia Jax are showing, and you guys need to guys you guys need to either protect her or train her more in terms of getting these spots accurately. Because we cannot have this. We cannot continue to have Nia Jax miss spots like this, or come in too late, or too early, or friggin' just standing around doing nothing for a couple of seconds waiting for someone to hit her. Like, we can't have this, man. It's just a shame. But yeah, I do agree with you. A TLC match would probably be great for this division, and some transitioning to single stars could also help bolster that singles division too, especially with the women's IC championship and the US championship as well. They need to get some love as well. But anyway, we'll move to the main event, which is
LA Knight and the Usos versus the Vision. I'm not sure exactly who in the Vision are going to be facing LA Knight and the Usos. Maybe like Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul. Probably, but it's a 6-way tag team match, or 6-person tag team match. I think the faces go over here thanks to the Hooded Man, who once again makes an appearance to stop Braun Breaker from interfering in the match. I don't know where they're going again with this damn Hooded Man angle. This is, I think, the third or fourth time in the last 12 months they've had a Hooded Man come out. So
the security again. Just
yeah,
why is the security so bad?
they need better security in there, man. So
Who do you think the hooded man is? So, because a lot of people are saying Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins would probably make it too obvious. Some people are saying someone inside the Vision could probably be the hooded man. Someone like Austin Theory or Logan Paul is the hooded man. Are you leaning towards the Seth Rollins part here, or are you leaning towards, I don't know, another wrestler being the hooded man here?
um I think it could definitely be Seth Rollins. I think that's the obvious choice here. Um, I'm not sure who else it would really be, unless it's something random like Chris Jericho for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Um,
that would
I
be
mean,
wild.
if you think of like, there's really no one else it could be. Like, why would it be Austin Theory? Like, he just joined like a couple weeks ago, so I don't know
Yeah.
why it would be him. I mean, it makes the most sense for it to be CM Punk. I mean, sorry, fucking jeez, Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. All
Makes
right.
the most sense for
Makes
it to be
sense.
Seth
Yeah.
Rollins. Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, are you leaning towards, I suppose, an 8-man tag as I proposed earlier, or are you leaning towards Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at Mania? Like,
Um,
where do you think you're leaning with that?
I could definitely see it being an 8-man tag. If you wanted to involve the most people possible at WrestleMania. So
Okay.
I mean, that's overbooked as hell because then you have like multiple multi-man tag team matches on a card, which is like crazy. So I like to think not, but um, maybe that's how it has to go. I mean, I think honestly, that's where I think they are going because I don't think there's a way you can blow off this Vision feud without having a definitive winner. Um, and because there's no like leader of this faction. I mean, you can say it's Braun Breaker, but it really isn't. You can't really have him versus Seth Rollins, so because it's more of a Paul Heyman thing as to why they turned on Seth. So I don't know. I really think they need to make the Vision seem more lethal, more deadly. They just seem like a bunch of buffoons at this point. So
That's true.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
No, as we've said earlier, they're more entangled in side quests rather than the main quests, which are the titles. But yeah, I guess I do agree with you. The Vision needs to be much better in terms of how strong they are booked. But yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Hopefully that changes later in the year. But for now, that's about it. That's all we got for the next episode of Monday Night Raw. And as I said earlier, we will watch the next episode when it airs, when it comes out, and then we will score our predictions and bookings. So until then, thank you for ordering a pepperoni pizza called Probably Next Week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, you're down for some fresh oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos.